you first told me we were going to watch The Burning, I thought it was a movie about chlamydia. But
Oh, yeah?
turns out.
You thought it was an
Close.
autobiographical film about when you go to the bathroom.
Right. Every time I have to pee, The Burning.
Yeah, well, I think this movie became much more popular since its 2007 DVD release. And aside from being an early credit for some well-known actors like Jason Alexander and Fisher Stevens, The Burning was also the first Miramax film and was Harvey and Bob Weinstein's first foray into feature-length narrative films. It wasn't very successful. It was actually kind of a setback for the fledgling Miramax. Who would become successful much later in the late 80s.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
With like Sex, Lies, and Videotape.
Is that kind of the next movie that kind of put him on the map to some degree?
That's a movie that put him on the map. I think it was like 8 or 9 years later.
Wow. All right. And then, yeah, Miramax was around. They made some top movies for quite a while.
Miramax? I thought they only made classy pictures like The Piano or The Crying Game.
And in fact, interesting enough, he was like he credited with creator, writer, and producer of this film. Like, he's really...
Well, it was the screenplay was written by Bob and Peter Lawrence. I think Harvey has a story by credit.
Oh, story by. Okay. So what does that differ? I mean, just he just came up with the idea and then they wrote the script. Is that how that works? Or
Yes.
okay. Yeah.
That's exactly how that works.
Nice. Nice. Smart.
The Burning's been re-released many times over the past 20 years and has garnered more favorable reviews from contemporary critics than it did in the early 80s. It can definitely be cheesy and broad at times, but it's a solid cast. It has good visual effects by Tom Savini, and overall it's a pretty solid early 80s slasher film. It has solid kills, it has compelling character development. So, I think this one is one we can definitely recommend.
Yeah.
I'll give The Burning 3 stars.
I was also going to give The Burning 3 stars. Again, I think for exactly those reasons. You
Yeah.
go into a slasher film, you expect unlikable characters that are kind of just like slasher fodder. They're just there to be stabbed. Whereas this, we take the time to kind of establish characters to some degree. And so when they're wiped out, it's par for the course, but at least there's a little more development than just like, here's a nobody that we're just gonna stab, real quick.
The Burning does avoid a lot of cliches of the slasher genre. This is pretty early in the slasher genre, so it's kind of before those cliches were super well defined.
Because what, Halloween was 78? Maybe kind of the first slasher-ish film?
Yeah, sure.
And then Friday the 13th, which is, this movie is pretty much Friday the 13th. But that movie...
That's, what the critics complained about when this movie
Right.
was released, that it was too similar to Friday the 13th, but it was actually developed before.
But it didn't start shooting until after the movie came out.
I don't think it was released until part 2 was out.
Right, because Tom Savini actually... I was making a joke earlier. I don't have chlamydia, and it still does burn when I pee, but my introduction to The Burning was through Tom Savini's makeup book.
Yeah.
I moved out here to Los Angeles to do special effects makeup at first, and I found myself in other ventures, whatever. But it's really, if nothing else, this movie is a great showcase for Tom's effects. Forget like character development and weird, script stuff. It's actually a lot of great effects. I think for that reason alone, it gets a 3-star from me. And according to this book, which I quickly read through after, haven't read it in years, but after watching The Burning, Tom Savini was asked to come and work on Friday the 13th Part 2, and he opted for The Burning instead. He felt this script was a little more grounded, a little more, realistic or whatever, and then he went for this one.
So bad choice. He was like, what's this, Friday the 13th Part 2? No, thank you. I'm going to do this movie, The Burning, that nobody will ever see.
Yeah, and it's not going to have any sequels, and it's not going to...
Did Tom Savini ever go back to the Friday the 13th series?
Not that I know of.
Interesting.
Yeah, I guess he burned his bridge there.
The Burning is currently streaming for free on Tubi. It's also available on Shudder. There are Blu-ray and 4K discs available. It's been re-released many times over the past 20 years. I think I watched the older HD transfer, and it still looked really good. So this is one I could definitely recommend. 3 stars for The Burning. It's based off of a New York legend called Cropsey, which is honestly less like something from Friday the 13th and more like Freddy Krueger. There's a documentary about Cropsey,
Okay.
and it's a little bit ill-defined, but a lot of people are kind of connect the Cropsey thing to a murderer of children who was a mentally ill man named Andre Rand. I don't think there's too much basis off of him in this film.
Okay.
It's more just the periphery of the whole Cropsey thing.
Right.
They kind of take the name Cropsey and they do their own thing with it.
Right, right.
And there were other movies attempting to do this at the same time.
Okay.
The movie Madman was also originally supposed to be about Cropsey, and I believe there was another early 80s slasher that was supposed to be about Cropsey.
Interesting.
The opening to The Burning, the titular scene, as they say, Cropsey, is a groundskeeper at a camp, and he's burned alive by a prank gone wrong. And the setup doesn't really stop there. It's a kind of an extended prologue where first is the scene where the campers accidentally set him on fire.
Here's the thing. Accidentally, they set up a thing in his room, in his gasoline and liquor covered room with some candles, and the guy wakes up drunk and he literally kicks it straight onto his own fucking legs. Is that an accident? That guy just literally kicked flames straight onto him. I'm sure he didn't want to. So I guess it is accidental.
It's definitely accidental. I don't think they meant for him to be set on fire. It is
right.
A bit of a leap that they got a severed head that also has candles in the eyes. Like, isn't a severed head enough?
It was, yeah, right.
Candles in the eyes. The reason why they're mad at this guy is like, it doesn't understand. If he's really being violent towards campers,
that's the thing.
Why is he allowed to be the groundskeeper?
It's interesting because, you know, this movie's kind of like, it's a lot of like hearsay, right? It almost like is bookended with like, this is a scary story being told around a campfire, right? It's kind of how it ends, and there's even a section in there. And so in the movie, it doesn't actually show this Cropsey character being villainous. He's not like stabbing kids with knives and being like, oh, I'm gonna fuck you in the ass, kid, if you go to sleep. No. He's just like, I mean, I guess he was drunk. He's got a lot of liquor bottles around his place, but
it's really just exposition through dialogue.
Right,
they don't like this guy for whatever reason. There's this little burning scene, and then there's a whole extended prologue of him in the hospital where he attacks an orderly. Which
weird scene too.
A funny enough scene. And then there's a scene where he murders a prostitute on the streets of New York City, which is one of the most terrifying scenes in the whole movie.
Yeah, it's good. But also, why did he fucking do that?
What's the leap from attacking campers to murdering a sex worker?
Yeah, to like not even attacking campers, to like breathing on them with his foul like liquor breath, to being lit on fire, to being made fun of at the hospital. And then maybe it's because at the hospital the order was like, this guy's the most fucked up piece of gross toast you've ever seen in your life. But still, that's not enough to make me go out and like methodically murder, a prostitute.
The movie does avoid a lot of the kind of slasher cliches. There's not like a final girl. It doesn't necessarily feel like it's the type of thing where the girls who are having sex get murdered.
No,
like
it's
a lot
actually
of people will talk about in Friday the 13th and Halloween.
It's almost the opposite. Girls who don't want to have sex get murdered.
Yeah, for sure. And if anything, there's like a lot of weird choices made with the main characters and the character development. Like one of the most sympathetic characters in the entire film was almost like the protagonist is like a fucking peeping Tom.
Yeah, that little pervert, Albert or whatever the fuck. Yeah. I would argue he's the final girl.
Maybe, yeah.
Because he's a virgin the entire time, and
well, it's a weird character to sympathize with and empathize with so much. And it's almost like they're trying to sell the bully as the bad guy. The bully is the one who acts appropriately. Right. It's like kind of weird.
I mean, despite being a little bit aggressive with his girlfriend, the bully is.
Maybe you could like try to make some kind of connection to Harvey Weinstein, writing the
pervert
story and being empathetical to weird sex pests.
Yeah, sure.
But that might be kind of a leap. I think if you're looking for connections to Harvey Weinstein in the film, more interesting is the fact that Tom Savini actually used Harvey Weinstein's deformed penis as the model for the Cropsey mask.
Oh, okay, yeah. That checks out. Yeah, check it out. Hey.
He actually had to photograph Harvey Weinstein's crotch and then recreate that on set.
Yeah.
Really good work.
He kept asking for more time because he wanted to get all the nuance in Harvey's genitalia, but they only gave him 3 days to sculpt the mask. So, which is actually true. I mean, the Weinstein dick thing, that's a joke, but obviously, like, they actually only gave him like 3 days to finish this fucking mask.
And after the weird prolonged prologue, it takes a while before Cropsey starts murdering campers. But the character development is pretty fun, and I didn't mind the pacing. It eventually pays off with the Raft Massacre scene, which is probably the most well-known scene in the film.
Right. I mean, it's like back-to-back slaughter. It's not just like, ooh, this one kill. It's like, oh my God, everybody on the raft.
Yeah, it's a lot of kills very quick and a lot of effects very quick. And as far as notable scenes go, it's probably the highlight of the entire film.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bunch of great gore effects and bright full daytime.
Right.
So you really see everything.
You see it just plunge right into people's necks and whatnot.
It's very memorable. When this movie was initially released, a lot of the gore from this raft massacre was cut out. When it was re-released on the DVD in 2007, a lot of this stuff got put back into it. So the version that you get to see nowadays is probably a lot better than the version of this film that was released theatrically in 81.
What I like also, they did this stylistic thing after the raft massacre. They like fade to red.
Okay,
And,
yeah.
it was pretty cool. I don't know. I feel like I've probably seen it other places, but it was just an interesting way to transition out instead of like cutting or going to black. It was fade to red, murder. And actually, while we're talking about interesting stylistic choices, the music for the movie, not super memorable. It's pretty much a sustained like synth like with a dun 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 dun, which is the Thing theme. Dude, it's like exactly the theme to The Thing, which came out in 82, right? And actually, talking about The Thing's score was an Ennio Morricone score, right? And when you listen to that score, maybe like 25% of it actually made it into the movie. The rest is something that like Carpenter made himself. And so that like theme isn't an Ennio Morricone theme as far as I'm concerned. It sounded like a Carpenter score, and if it was directly inspired by The Burning, I would not be surprised.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know that The Burning, the guy from the band Yes did all the music.
Yes, really?
Yeah.
They're playing tonight out in Thousand Oaks.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. The
I
guys,
doubt they'll be doing any stuff from, The Burning.
yeah,
But
probably not. That's funny, though.
Harvey Weinstein started off doing concert films.
Oh, interesting.
He was actually a concert promoter who started doing concert films and documentaries. So I don't know if that's how he had a connection to the guy from Yes, but that's the guy who did the music for the film.
Very cool. Very cool.
And the final set piece for the film is an old mine, which is kind of strange. Cropsey suddenly has a flamethrower out of nowhere, and the filmmakers are making an attempt to kind of connect this back to the intro where he's burnt to death.
Right, where it's kind of revealed that the camp counselor now was a kid as part of the prank that went wrong.
Yeah, the lead counselor, Todd,
Right.
was part of the group of kids that set Cropsey on fire.
Yep. And now he's gonna pay his dues, I guess. What I really liked about this scene, Gary, is that it was like a good sense of dread. Like, we haven't seen Cropsey's face, and now he's got a fucking flamethrower, and he's like slowly walking towards, and while this guy's having some weird flashbacks about burning up a guy alive when he was a kid. And that really worked. And then all of a sudden, Cropsey's not there anymore. And he's like missing, and he doesn't have his flamethrower. And then Todd like does like a second lap or something around this old mine, and it got very confusing because he was already in front of these slats with lights coming through saying Alfred, and then like 5 minutes later he's doing the same thing, and I was like, wait, did I miss something? Did he get knocked out and now I'm like watching like a fake memory or something? It threw me off. I was like, wait, what the fuck's happening? But literally he's just doing 2 laps around the same damn place, even though like props are reset and stuff. It kind of felt like a mess. What I heard was that the final scene was actually supposed to take place elsewhere. It was supposed to be in a cave or like
I think it's supposed to be a boathouse.
But there was bats in either place, and it wasn't safe to huff bat shit fumes. Bats carry a lot of diseases and whatnot.
Yeah, because they don't really establish the mine. It's just kind of out of nowhere. They're just in a mine. There's no real explanation.
Yeah,
Alfred's
running through the woods, and then he gets into this like concrete labyrinth that lasts for like a good 3 minutes on screen for some reason, and then he makes it into this mine. And so, so the location had to change last minute, but also I read that they didn't like they had Tom Savini actually come up with a new ending to The Burning. So he might have actually directed this last sequence, which could be why it's kind of a mess. He's an effects guy. He's not necessarily a director, you know. It had a lot of good holy shit moments for me. Honestly, I was kind of like, holy shit! when like something popped out or whatever, because and even though I was confused about things, like I was still like taken aback and surprised and like in it for the ride. And so I think that's still why I'm giving it a 3.
To create images is always a challenge. Digital magic.